What is up, guys? Welcome to the DNA. Today we're going to be talking about riding pants, specifically your regular denims versus your purpose-built riding pants. Because depending on what brand you're using, your riding pants are going to be at least 5 to 6 times more expensive than your regular denims. So we're just going to try and find out if that investment is really worth it. And if you are new to the channel, my name is Srinivas, and we normally try to make travel videos, moto vlogs, motorcycle related videos and similar type of content. So if you're into any of that, do consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get into this one for now. So let's start with the basics. When I say denims, I want to make it very clear that I do not mean wearing only denims and go out riding, because that does not make sense. If you are wearing only your denims without any kind of knee guard or ankle length shoes, it does not have any kind of impact protection, and if you take a fall on a decent speed, it doesn't really have any kind of abrasion resistance anyways. So that way the comparison wouldn't stand valid at all. Comparing a normal jeans without any extra protection on with the riding pants would be like comparing me with Rossi. And that brings us to the abrasion resistant qualities of the riding pants. This is way more than your denim. In case you take a crash at a high speed and you're going to go sliding on the tarmac, your riding pants are definitely going to help you a lot more, because your denims are just going to tear off in like 3 feet of you scraping on the ground, and then it is going to be your skin rubbing against the road, which is painful. I have never felt it that bad before, but I don't want to, you know. And this one, on the other hand, will be able to take you sliding way further, and that extra 1 or 2 meters is maybe what you need to protect your skin. And impact resistance comes inbuilt on them, so you do have internal slots where you can have your C level 2 or level 1 armors going in, and at the same time you also have hip protection with most of them. Like for example, mine, it came with additional protectors like these. Yeah, so you have pockets on the sides, and you basically just slide these in, and these are supposed to be protecting your hip from the sides. Now, I keep them out normally if I'm just going for a breakfast ride with my boys, but I normally just prefer using them when I know that there is any kind of off-roading involved, or if there is going to be a high-speed riding involved. Because if I have it, I don't use it, and I go out there, and for any reason if I have a crash and I break my hip, guess who's the stupidest person in the world? So yeah, when it comes to protection, if you have the money, it's common sense. You're going to be using this, but after protection, the second most important thing is what's going to come into play here: the looks. And many people are going to go like, how stupid is it? You're talking about riding pants and you're talking about looks, but it kind of matters if you think about it. I mean, if you're going to be mostly riding into the city, or somebody who's going to college, office, and you don't have time or place to change into something else, or don't have place to store your riding pants if you do change into something else, I don't want to go on a date with something like this on. So I will prefer denims, and in that case, like I said, you need to make sure that you at least have your ankle length shoes and your knee guards. If you are riding into the city, I'm assuming you at least have a backpack on most of the times, and that is enough. Just put on the knee guards, wear your denims, it is okay. Go, once you reach the destination, take the knee guards out, put it in your backpack. If you don't have a backpack, see if there is place under your seat. Get to the destination, remove the knee guards and just put them under your seat and lock them. When you get back on the bike, you can wear them again. But not having any kind of impact protection does not make sense, so do not do that. But ankle length shoes is again another thing that I stress on. We're not talking about that on this topic, but I really want to stress on it, because your ankles, your knees and your hip are the 3 places where the bone is exposed the most when you're riding. So if there is an impact, it is very easy to crush those bones. And I don't care what type of shoes you wear, even if it's like a 20,000 rupee shoe but it doesn't cover the ankle, you can't really do much with those good looking toes if you have a crushed ankle. So cover the bloody ankles. And then comes your additional protection, or not just protection, but things that can prevent a crash. Your riding pants are getting very thoughtful when they're making those nowadays, so you do have some amount of reflectors on them, and it is definitely way more ventilated, so comfort is a definite factor which you need to consider. If you're just going to be riding for an hour or two, your denims is just fine, you don't really have a big issue, so breakfast rides were still good. But if you are going to be on the saddle through the day, and if you're going to be going long distance touring, the one that I've gotten is like an all mesh pant, so ventilation is never a problem. You do have elastic on here, so when you're sitting in, your knees are not under any kind of stress or pull because of the fabric, which just goes a long way in keeping yourself comfortable, especially when you're riding for more than 3 or 4 hours a day. At this point you might ask me, but Srini, what about the riding denims that comes with Kevlar lining and with the pocket for the armor, and they are meant for riding? What about? We'll get to that in a moment. Riding denims do make sense, but it has its own place, and like I said, we'll come to that in a moment. So if I have to put it in a very short way, what I would say is, if you are going to be firstly riding into the city, which does not involve high speeds, and if you're just going to be doing regular breakfast rides which are not more than an hour or two long, you are still good with riding pants as far as you are covering your knees and your ankles. But if you're going to be riding for anything more than that, which is going to involve 3-digit speeds, which is going to involve a lot of highways and a long number of hours on the saddle, so if you're taking up touring for as a hobby or anything of that sort, going for riding pants would be a better option, because you're going to be spending a few $1,000 on your knee guards anyways. Might as well save a little more and get the riding pants. In that way you have 2 advantages. One, you don't have to carry multiple denims. When I travel, I carry only one pair of denim, because whenever I'm riding, which is going to be most of the times, it is going to be your riding pants while touring. And when you reach the destination, and if you want to dress into something casual, is when you'll need a denim, which ends up letting you pack lighter. Secondly, the pockets, weirdly enough, most of the denims don't have a buckled or a zipped pockets, but most of the riding pants do. So you're not going to be one of those people who's going to reach somewhere and then go like, oh shit, I had my phone in my pocket. No, if you put your phone in your riding pants and you zip it up or buckle it up, it's going to stay there. Talking about riding denims that come with Kevlar lining, and which do have pockets that already exist for armors, which do come with armors nowadays, are definitely awesome. But I face a couple of challenges with them. One, because it has a Kevlar lining, it doesn't have the same ventilation like my mesh riding pants does, and they do have comparatively more abrasion resistance than the denims, the regular denims, but not as much as your riding pants. But if you are somebody who is also confused about the looks department, where you want a proper riding pant but you are going to be riding in the city all the time and you don't really want to look like a bloody tourer, getting those riding denims with Kevlar linings do make sense. So make a call accordingly. The reason why I am not a big fan of the Kevlar pants is, unless you are ordering it from AliExpress, in India those pants are going to cost you around 5,000-6,000 rupees anyways. 6,000 rupees you get an actual riding pant, so I don't see a reason why I would compromise on that. So yeah, that was my thoughts about the 2 pants. So I hope it helps, and I hope it lets you make a decision on what you want to do. Talking about the lower body protection, this would pretty much cover it. Just take care of your ankles, knees and hips. The reason why I focus on them a lot is because there is a very good to fair chance that when you fall, you're going to be dropping your bike on the feet or your legs, and your head and your lower body is something that I prioritize when I'm looking at my protection. And at the same time, talking about the midsection of your body, that is equally important. I do have a riding jacket that goes along with it. This is also a mesh jacket. They both look very similar. So this is basically my riding gear, and you know what, more about this in the next video. We'll actually make a video on this. Again, if you are new to the channel, do consider subscribing. If you're old to the channel and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I will see you again in the next video.